Have you ever felt your life crumble right in the middle of a holiday gathering? When everything you believed in, your home, your family, your sense of security, turns out to be a lie? For Dan, it all unraveled on New Year's Eve. A routine family dinner, harmless laughter, the warmth of tradition, until his younger brother pulled him aside. One sentence, and Dan's entire world collapsed. His wife had been cheating, with his own brother. But that wasn't the worst part. No anger, no outrage, no condemnation. His family didn't just know, they approved. Their smiles were too easy, their words too casual. It was as if they had been waiting for this moment. And when the next revelation dropped, one even more devastating, Dan realized the unthinkable. He had been an outsider in his own family all along. So, what do you do when the people closest to you decide you don't belong? Do you accept defeat, swallow the betrayal, or do you find a way to turn the game around? If you think you know where this is going, think again. Buckle up. You're in for a story that will shatter everything you believe about trust, loyalty, and revenge. Hello, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by my channel. If it's your first time here, don't forget to subscribe and like this video, as every like truly inspires me. Please tell me which city and country you watched this video from. Now, let's get started. The night. Everything changed. Quinn pulled into his parents' driveway on New Year's Eve, his wife Layla in the passenger seat, their children, Michael and Whitney, in the back. It was supposed to be a routine family gathering, a familiar, if predictable, celebration. His younger brother, Derek, was already inside with his wife, April, and their two sons, Todd and Cameron. The evening had barely begun when Derek motioned for Quinn to follow him into another room, his face unreadable. The words that followed shattered Quinn's world. Derek had been having an affair with Layla. Stunned, Quinn sought refuge in his mother's reaction, expecting anger, solidarity, anything that affirmed his pain. Instead, she met him with quiet assurance, as though she'd already made peace with it. She gathered the family, and what should have been a reckoning became something else entirely. No one condemned Derek or Layla. Instead, his family welcomed their relationship, their smiles too casual, their words too accepting. Michael hesitated before confessing that Quinn might not even be his father. Whitney, her voice cold and detached, dismissed Layla outright as nothing more than a disappointment. Each revelation was accompanied by a justification, his jokes, his sarcasm, the way his words had shaped their perceptions of him over the years. It was as if his casual remarks, never meant to harm, had rewritten history itself. Each accusation silenced him further, until finally he couldn't bear it. Without a word, he stepped outside, letting the cold night wrap around him. Inside, the party continued without pause, as if nothing had changed. No one followed him. Eventually, Layla emerged, settling beside him on the porch. "Quinn, you seem upset." His laugh was humorless. "Upset? How could I not be? I've just listened to my family dismantle my entire life, and they did it like it was some kind of casual conversation over dinner. So we sat there, the party still lively behind us." "All right," Quinn said, exhaling slowly. "Jennifer wants me to be more careful with my jokes. Clearly everyone feels the same." "Fine, I'll apologize." His hands clenched into fists as he gazed into the darkness, his thoughts growing heavier. "But here's what I don't get, Layla. If this has been bothering everyone for so long, why didn't anyone just tell me? Why didn't you?" His mother had claimed to stand by him, yet she had orchestrated his humiliation. His children had watched it unfold, complicit. And Layla? She had been at the heart of it all. "They were hurt," Quinn continued, his voice raw. "Apparently I hurt you too. Was this how you decided to even the score? They're just kids. I'll always love them no matter what. But you knew exactly what you were doing." Layla's fingers curled around his arm, but he pulled away. "Jennifer called you, didn't she? She asked you to talk to me. You had a choice. You could have pulled me aside, told me privately. But that wouldn't have been enough, would it? No, you saw the opportunity. You gathered everyone, made it a spectacle. His breath clouded in the cold air as he turned toward her. And you enjoyed it, didn't you? Even I, blind as I apparently am, could see it in your face. You liked watching me fall apart. His voice dropped, barely above a whisper. Tell me, Layla, after I walked out, did you all laugh about it? About how pathetic I looked? A lump formed in his throat, the weight of betrayal pressing down on him. I know I make mistakes, he admitted, and I know I have to own them, but I never wanted to hurt anyone. Can you say the same? He turned away from her, staring into the night, replaying every moment that had led him to this exact spot, wondering if anything had ever been real at all. I never thought I'd hear myself say these words, yet here I was, speaking them aloud. I have always loved you. Layla's expression changed. Quinn, are you suggesting that I don't love you? The way she reacted told me she was beginning to recognize that her joke had crossed a line. Her eyes sharpened, assessing the situation. She wanted to wrap things up, to take me home, smooth things over, and reassert control. But I wasn't going to let her off that easily. No, Quinn, I know you love me. She leaned in, attempting to kiss me, but I tilted my head back, just enough to keep my distance. And do you trust me? Of course, I trust you. A flicker of hesitation passed across her face. Have I ever given you a reason to doubt me? Have I ever lied to you? Have I ever covered for you dishonestly? I let the silence stretch between us. You trust me completely, don't you? Layla's frown deepened. Quinn, you know I love you and trust you. But why are we even talking about this? That's exactly the issue, I cut in. For years, we've been solid. We've loved each other. We've relied on one another. I still believe that. But today, I exhaled, shaking my head. Today, I watched you abandon me. I saw you let me down when I needed you most. You laughed at my expense, fully aware of what I was going through, and you enjoyed it. She shifted uncomfortably, arms crossing over her chest. There's a part of you, I went on, a small hidden part that thinks it's okay to hurt me. Maybe it's rare. Maybe it happens more often than I realize. Either way, it exists. She opened her mouth to argue, but I raised a hand. No, I'm not talking about divorce, unless you want to. And yes, I'll still love you as long as you still love me. But trust. I paused, letting the weight of the word sink in. My trust in you suffered a serious blow today. Layla lowered her gaze to her trembling hands. Whether it was the cold or something deeper, I couldn't say. We've been together a long time, and that matters. So let's just say I mostly trust you now. As they say, trust, but verify. I'll work on my awareness, and you can work on being more than mostly trustworthy. It's not the conclusion I wanted, but it's the best I can offer. She nodded, her lips pressed tightly together. I reached out, helping her to her feet. Come on, let's go inside. I imagine my family is eager to have their say, but that's what the holidays are for, right? I forced a humorless smile. Put on a good face, Layla. No one needs to know what happened between us tonight. I wouldn't want to ruin the kids' holiday spirit, not when I'll already be busy apologizing. Layla walked beside me into the house, but as soon as we entered, she vanished, pulling my mother into the kitchen. Derek clapped a hand on my shoulder, yanking me back to the moment. Man, we really got you, huh? I forced a chuckle. Yeah, little brother. You all got me good. I never saw it coming. Every single one of you took your pound of flesh. Across the room, my mother wrinkled her nose at my words. My father, noticing her reaction, stepped closer, exchanging a glance with her. Their expressions darkened. The party wrapped up quickly after that. We arrived home just before midnight. Layla reached for me, but I stepped away. If you're wondering how I kept myself composed, the answer is simple. When you refuse to fully feel things, it's easier to stay upright. I learned that lesson the hard way. If you let your guard down, the world will crush you. Sometimes, it's safer to seem unfeeling than to risk being vulnerable. In the days that followed, Layla kept trying to talk about it. She apologized for the prank, irritated that I was still upset. What do you want me to do? Can't you just move on? Not long after, the delayed Christmas gifts I had ordered finally arrived. I made sure everyone got theirs. One package, wrapped in elegant paper, stood out. A polished brass kettlebell. Engraved on its surface, 1 pound of flesh, taken from Quinn Peters, December 31st, was unwrapping it as I passed through the kitchen. I didn't stay to see her reaction. I don't believe in revenge, not because I'm noble, but because I wouldn't know how to pull it off well. Practical jokes never made sense to me, and I always ended up on the receiving end. The best I could do was respond in my own way, which, I was sure, wouldn't seem remotely funny to anyone else. So, I started paying attention. I went through bank statements, receipts, anything I could get my hands on. Layla usually managed our checkbook, and she wasn't pleased when I started double-checking her work. "Is there something you don't want me to find?" I asked casually, watching her closely. Her jaw tensed, but she couldn't argue. Of course, I had every right to review our finances. I checked the small things, shopping receipts, phone bills, even the mileage on her car. One day, she walked in just as I was mapping gas station receipts, tracing her routes. "Just getting things in order for tax season, honey," I said smoothly. Layla sighed, rubbed her temple, and walked away. A few weeks later, right before Valentine's Day, I had to work late. I called home to let her know not to wait up. "I'll grab something to eat at the office," I told her. I hung up, staring at my phone for a long moment. Trust, but verify. As the evening settled in around 6:30, I decided to step away from work for a while and grab a meal at the small restaurant across the street, a place I'd frequented for years. The moment I walked through the door, my eyes landed on Layla, seated in a booth with a man who appeared to be about my age. He was sharply dressed, impeccably groomed, and entirely unfamiliar to me. Intrigued, I made my way over. "Layla, aren't you going to introduce me to your companion?" I asked, my tone edged with curiosity. "I had no idea you had company tonight." A flicker of discomfort crossed her face as she fumbled for a response. "Quinn, come on. This isn't what you think," she said quickly. "This is Dr. Ross, my therapist. I started seeing him after everything. He's really helped. In fact, he thought you might benefit from joining us. Maybe he can help with your, temper." I paused, weighing the situation. Was I overanalyzing this? Perhaps they both genuinely believed they were doing me a favor. Maybe Dr. Ross, in particular, had no ulterior motive beyond his professional intentions. But despite that, the whole setup felt orchestrated, and I wasn't inclined to entertain it. "So, let me get this straight," I said, my voice cutting through the air. "You tell your therapist where I'll be, and the two of you decide to ambush me with some impromptu therapy session? And what? This is supposed to magically resolve everything? Make me forgive you? Tell me, Layla, how exactly is this approach any different from your last attempt? Do you honestly believe manipulation will rebuild my trust?" I turned my attention toward Dr. Ross, leveling him with a cold stare. Even without a psychology degree, I could tell he hadn't expected this level of resistance. "So tell me, Doc, what's your role in this little intervention? Are you here to diagnose my so-called anger issues?" I leaned forward slightly. Because last I checked, no one has ever slapped that label on me, and I certainly don't remember requesting your expertise. Maybe I should bring this up with the state board, see if they have any thoughts on unsolicited therapy. His face lost a shade of color, though he managed to hold his composure. At least he wasn't bolting for the door. Feeling no inclination to soften my stance, I refocused on Layla. The anger simmering inside me remained, and for once, I felt no guilt about it. "You want to fix this?" My voice was quieter now, but it carried an undeniable weight. Then stop lying. To me. To yourself. You've spent all this time making me out to be the villain, and I sat there, forced to take it. And you? You relished it. She parted her lips to speak, but I didn't give her the chance. Take responsibility, Layla. Own the damage you caused. That burden I handed you. Set it on your desk. Look at it every day. Let it remind you of the consequences of recklessness. And maybe, just maybe, admit that you've never even apologized. Without another word, I turned on my heel and walked out, leaving her frozen in place. Across from her, Dr. Ross seemed to have developed a sudden and intense interest in his phone, as if it might provide an emergency exit. Whether Layla finally decided to make things right was out of my hands, but as I left, two things were clear. I would continue stepping on toes, and I'd probably have to apologize again at some point. And Layla? She wouldn't dare try something like this again. This story has come to an end. Betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. It often comes from the people we trust the most. And the deepest pain isn't the betrayal itself, but realizing that your suffering is nothing more than a passing moment for those who caused it. But this story isn't just about betrayal. It's about choice. You can break, become bitter, and see yourself as a victim. Or you can learn, recognize people for who they truly are, and stop giving your trust to those who don't deserve it. True strength isn't in revenge. It's in walking away with your dignity intact. Because sometimes, the best response is simply refusing to play their game. What's your opinion? Share it in the comments, my friend. And if you liked this story, check out other exciting videos on my channel. I'll say goodbye until the next video. See you.